karma versus free will. Now, in order for us to take action, we need to have the freedom of choice, which is why karma is not applicable to babies and animals. They have no freedom of choice. Freedom of choice means I don't have a sense of compulsion. I don't have a sense of pressure. Some of y'all might be thinking of different ways to get out of a certain situation, and a pressure might be building. The moment pressure and compulsion builds, you are not in choice. Your karma needs to be completed. I got a call, a WhatsApp call from an international number. And there are quite a few numbers like that on WhatsApp, on direct lines as well. Best to avoid, right? And yet, as I saw that number and I was going to ignore it, I have a body part that has a sense of compulsion. One compulsion started to grow, which means I have karma with this call. I don't have free will to take a different action. I took the call. T on the other end of the call, suffering with acute pain for 3 days, screaming in pain, painkillers not helping. She does not have an appointment. She has not paid for a session. And she was like, can you help? Puking all the time. That poor darling, 30 times she must have puked as we began the clearings. If she was not puking, she was screaming in pain. If she was not screaming in pain, she was puking. It was so terrible, like to see somebody writhing and suffering in pain. Relief would last a second. Barely would she catch her breath that she would start puking again. It took us 1 hour before some semblance of normality, not fully gone, some semblance of normality came in. We understood the story as well. We understood what had happened. And because I know that compulsion means karma, pressure means karma. Pressure means you don't have freedom of choice, meaning you cannot instigate a action of your choice. So at the end, to her enormous credit and integrity, she said, I have to pay you. Please let me know your charges. Now, animal part will say, tell her your charges. But I know that that compulsion meant, and not necessarily a karma with T, but a karma in that moment that needed to be completed. In that hour, at that end of that hour, I knew it was completed. But because it had to do with karma, I said, there is no charge. It's okay. 2 days later, we get an email. I would like to send $100. Can you please receive it? And you see, because my karma is over and I have no sense of compulsion, now I have free will. And I said, I will happily receive. She had also mentioned something very beautiful. And she had said, perhaps this can also give somebody else a free session. Cannot say no to that. I said, yes, happily will receive. And I did receive. Because my karma got over and her started, where she had to give me some. Need not have been me, because I said, if you feel too much about it, give wherever you would like to give. But she sent it to me. So this, when I ask you to make a decision, or I'm saying you need a different action, and this compulsion comes up, right? You have karma pending with this situation. It will take a while. Only in free will and that freedom of choice will you be able to know that your karma is completed. Animal tendencies, animal behavior, animal DNA, plant tendencies, plant behavior, plant DNA carries no karma, but it does carry programs. It carries traumas. It's not like animals don't have trauma. That bear who got his foot in a trap recovered, managed, but was his foot always okay? No. And if you belong to that ancestry, it will show up in your foot. So you might take very many different actions, but what is the biggest action you have to take? The biggest action you have to take is that you have to recognize that a balance and justice, dharma, is being carried out here.